Bills Mafia, buckle up because football is officially back in Buffalo, and I mean really back. Not just another preseason game back, we're talking brand new stadium, brand new head coach, and a moment that Western New York has been waiting years for. This past Saturday, the Buffalo Bills strapped on the pads and stepped onto the field for the very first competitive game ever played inside the shiny, sparkling $2.1 billion Highmark Stadium. And when the dust settled, Buffalo walked away with a commanding 29-14 win over the Carolina Panthers. But trust me, there is so much more to this story than just a final score. Let's set the scene. This wasn't just a game. This was a full-blown changing of the guard for the Buffalo Bills franchise. After nearly a decade under Sean McDermott, the Bills enter this season with a brand new head coach in Joe Brady, the former offensive coordinator who got the keys to the kingdom this offseason. Brady also brought in a completely new defensive mastermind. First-time NFL defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard to try and fix a unit that was an absolute disaster a season ago. So when Bills fans filed into that gleaming new stadium, there were nerves in the air. New coach, new system, new building. Would anything actually feel familiar? The answer came almost immediately. Because the second Josh Allen jogged out onto that field to sling the ceremonial first pass in the new building, it was like nothing had changed at all. Same swagger, same command of the huddle. Same guy who Bills Mafia has trusted with their hearts for years now. And once the game actually kicked off, Allen wasted zero time reminding everybody exactly why he's considered by many to be the single best quarterback in football. On Buffalo's very first snap from scrimmage in their new home, Allen dropped back on play action and uncorked a beautiful 21-yard strike to Khalil Shakir. Just like that, Bills Mafia was on its feet. 2 offensive series. That's all Allen needed to work with on the night. And in that limited window, he was close to perfect, completing 6 of 8 passes for 111 yards. But the moment everybody will be talking about all week, that touchdown. Late in his second and final drive of the day, Allen rolled through a play in the red zone and found Keon Coleman for a 9-yard touchdown to cap the drive. First touchdown ever scored in the new Highmark Stadium, and it belonged to Keon Coleman. Bills Mafia erupted. And here's where the story gets even juicier, because this wasn't just any touchdown. This was personal. See, Keon Coleman wasn't the only new face making an impact for Buffalo's offense that night. The Bills also got their first look at newly acquired wide receiver DJ Moore, who arrived in Buffalo this offseason after being traded from, you guessed it, the Carolina Panthers. That's right, Bills Mafia. DJ Moore spent his first 4 NFL seasons in Carolina before Chicago, and now he was lining up across from his old team wearing the red, white, and blue of Buffalo. And when Moore hauled in a catch during that same drive, he didn't just quietly jog back to the huddle. He turned around, pointed at the Carolina defensive back who covered him, and let him know exactly how he felt about it. Bills Mafia? That man had some words for his former team, and honestly, we loved every second of it. Now, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows on that drive. Moore came up a little banged up after the catch, limping noticeably as trainers rushed over to check on his right foot and lower leg. For a few tense moments, Bills Mafia's stomach dropped because nobody wants to see a key piece of this receiving corps go down in preseason action. The good news? Moore eventually got his shoe back on and walked off under his own power. Coach Joe Brady later said Moore told him on the sideline that he was good to go, though the veteran receiver did spend the rest of the game in shorts and running shoes as a precaution and didn't return with the rest of the starters. We'll be watching that situation closely as the week goes on, because Bills Mafia cannot afford any long-term setbacks to this offense before the games start counting. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, Carolina simply had no answers. Panthers starting quarterback Bryce Young in the first-team offense looked completely out of sync, managing just 3 and out after 3 and out. Young finished the night a rough 3 for 5 passing for a measly 18 yards, operating behind a patchwork offensive line, missing both starting tackles due to injury. It didn't help that Carolina also sat both of their starting guards. Point is, Bills Mafia. This Buffalo defense didn't just beat a good football team, they steamrolled a Panthers offense that could barely put together a single positive drive. Let's talk about that defense for a second, because this is the story within the story. Bills Mafia knows the painful truth from last season. Buffalo's run defense was one of the worst units in the entire league, finishing near the bottom of the NFL and getting gashed for well over 100 yards on the ground per game. And when a defense can't stop the run, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is, because Josh Allen ends up standing on the sideline watching the clock tick away while opposing offenses milk possessions. Analysts around the league have been saying it for months. If you want to beat Buffalo, you don't need to outduel Josh Allen through the air. You just need to run the football down their throat and keep the best player in the league off the field. That's the blueprint that's haunted this franchise in the postseason. So enter defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard, brought in specifically to fix that exact problem. It's only preseason, and Bills Mafia knows better than to draw sweeping conclusions from one exhibition game against backups and rookies. But this was still the first real look at Leonhard's new scheme in a live, competitive setting, with actual different personnel, different checks, and different looks being tested out under the lights. Head coach Joe Brady said after the game that his team was getting live reps against a different opponent and a different defensive scheme for the first time, and that there's a real emphasis on communication, on learning what checks work against what looks, and building that foundation now so it pays off once the games start to matter. Brady even admitted he wasn't thrilled to see some of his new pieces, like DJ Moore, absorb a few big hits in an exhibition game. But he acknowledged that kind of physical live rep experience is valuable heading into the grind of the regular season. Let's not forget about special teams either. Bills Mafia. Because kicker Tyler Bass made his long-awaited return to game action. Bass missed the entire previous season dealing with pelvis and hip issues, so getting him back out there attempting kicks in a real game, even a preseason one, is a significant step forward for this football team. He connected on 3 of his 4 attempts on the night, with his lone miss sailing wide right from 45 yards out. Not a perfect return, but a meaningful one, and Bills Mafia will absolutely take a healthy Tyler Bass heading into the fall. And can we just take a second to talk about the atmosphere? Because this game wasn't just about football, it was about the building itself. Fans and reporters who walked through the new Highmark Stadium for the first time couldn't stop gushing about the experience. One fan compared the feeling of being inside to sitting in the back of a luxury car, looking up and seeing lights across the ceiling that resemble stars in the night sky. Longtime Bills faithful who used to tailgate across the street are now watching their old stomping grounds get replaced by a completely reimagined, state-of-the-art fan experience. Some traveled from across the entire country just to witness this moment in franchise history in person. That's the kind of loyalty Bills Mafia brings, and it makes total sense why this billion-dollar building is being treated like a brand new chapter in Buffalo sports history. Now, let's have a little fun, Bills Mafia, because the football world could not stop reacting to this game either. National media personalities were buzzing about Keon Coleman specifically, calling this a true make-or-break year for the young receiver. And, look, they're not wrong to bring that up. Coleman has had his fair share of colorful, confident moments off the field, the kind of swagger that only gets forgiven if the production on the field backs it up. Well, on night 1 of the new era, Coleman backed it up with a touchdown in the building's first ever competitive game. Message sent. There was also plenty of chatter about just how loaded this Buffalo receiving room looks on paper now. You've got DJ Moore bringing veteran fire and swagger after that emotional homecoming/revenge game against Carolina. You've got Keon Coleman looking to take that leap into a true number 1 option. You've got Khalil Shakir continuing to be one of the most reliable slot weapons in all of football. And you've still got James Cook waiting in the backfield to punish defenses on the ground. On paper, this offense, freshly souped up under Joe Brady's play-calling influence, looks absolutely stacked heading into the regular season. But let's bring it back to reality for a second. Bills Mafia, because we all know how this story has gone in years past. Josh Allen has been sensational in the playoffs by almost any measure. But sensational individual quarterback play hasn't been enough to get this franchise over the championship hump. The path forward isn't a mystery. It's fixing that run defense. It's building a group under Jim Leonhard that can actually get off the field on third down and force opposing offenses into obvious passing situations where Josh Allen and this defense can feast. One preseason win over Carolina's backups doesn't answer that question definitively, but it's a start. And in Buffalo, after everything this fan base has been through, a start with a smile on it means something. So here's where we land. Bills Mafia. Final score 29-14. Buffalo, Josh Allen looked sharp and in complete control in his limited action. Keon Coleman scored the first touchdown in franchise history inside the new Highmark Stadium. DJ Moore made his return to Carolina personal and gave us all a little scare before shaking it off. Tyler Bass got valuable game reps back after a season lost to injury. And Joe Brady picked up win number 1 as an NFL head coach in front of a sold-out, star-struck crowd inside a brand-new $2.1 billion cathedral of football. Is it just preseason? Absolutely. Should we pump the brakes on overreacting to one exhibition win? Probably. But Bills Mafia, after everything this franchise and this fan base has endured, doesn't it just feel good to have Buffalo Bills football back? This is only the beginning, folks. The Bills are heading into a joint practice with the Cleveland Browns this week, followed by their next preseason tune-up on August 22nd, and we are going to be here covering every single snap, every roster battle, and every headline along the way. So Bills Mafia, I want to hear it from you. What was your favorite moment from this game? Was it Josh Allen looking like Josh Allen from the jump? Was it Keon Coleman's touchdown in the brand new building? Was it DJ Moore letting his old team know exactly how he feels? Or is it simply the fact that after a long offseason, football is finally, officially back in Buffalo? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. I read every single one. And before you go, Bills Mafia, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button if you're fired up for this new era of Buffalo Bills football. Subscribe to Bills Nation Report and turn on notifications so you never miss a single breakdown this season. Share this video with another die-hard Bills fan, because the bigger this community gets, the better this channel gets for all of us. New stadium, new head coach, new era, same Josh Allen. And hopefully, Bills Mafia, by the end of this season, the same championship expectations we've all been dreaming about. Go Bills, and I will see you in the next one.